Welcome to Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. We are here at Cariana Lay Monastic Community. I'm your host, Brother Lodi, and with us is Sister Tachi. Sister?
So, Father, now you're going to discuss about the Australian Synod.
Yeah, so we mentioned the fact that the errors of the Vatican Synod on the Amazon and the Australian Synod are the same, that they are going against the teaching of the Catholic Church as found in the Scriptures and the Fathers of the Church. And we want to make this general statement so that everybody can just check on it. Because you cannot check all of them because it will take a long time.
Okay.
The general defect of the Australian Synod, which is happening in the Philippines too, that's why this thing can happen to us anytime.
That's what's frightening.
For the reason that many priests and bishops and cardinals and Pope Francis has been guilty of heresies. And we mentioned the fact that the Dubia has mentioned already 5 heresies. The second correction of the Pope Francis from the filial correction, they call it, has around, I think, 10 corrections. And the latest was around 40 corrections. So those are 40 heresies of the Pope, of the cardinals, and the bishops.
Yes.
So you cannot imagine how many heretical bishops we have already in the Philippines. Because most of them are just parroting, Pope Francis and so on like that. The Vice President of our Bishops' Conference already said that there is no hell.
Yes.
That's a heresy.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if your bishop is a heretic holding erroneous doctrines, the probability is great that they're teaching you wrong doctrines. It's impossible for one to have one erroneous doctrine and teach one doctrine well or correctly. Cannot be. If you have one error, all your doctrines are erroneous because they are all interconnected. So our bishops in the Philippines are showing heresies. Lately, they're all now against capital punishment. Now, capital punishment is a Catholic doctrine, and so they're guilty of a second heresy, aside from not believing in hell. Now, this is the general thing that's happening in the world. That we have a pope, we have cardinals, bishops, and priests, not all of them, of course.
Not.
But most of them, majority of them, are holding heresies. Majority. You can see it in the Bishops' Conference meeting. You can see other things they voted. You can see it. No? Of course, these are secret. But
Nothing
sometimes they talk. If the ones in the conclave are talking against the rules,
Yes.
Yeah. How much more these bishops in the Bishop Conference, they talk and they tell us what the things they approve and they disapprove, and you can see that they have approved many heretical things. Now, if your bishop is heretical, then he's a Protestant. Maybe he's a pagan or a Protestant, but definitely he's not a Catholic if he has a heresy.
Yeah.
And we mentioned several names already, and they hold the biggest dioceses in the Philippines, which means that in a short time that whole diocese will become Protestant.
Yes, if you believe in your bishop, and he's what he says.
Because of the heresy, yeah.
Yes, because
of
this is the heresy he says, then he will
Yeah.
believe in it too.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in a heresy, you're guilty of the same heresy.
As he.
And heresies are mortal sins.
Yes.
Mortal sins. Huh?
Yes.
So, that is the general concept that we are trying to see. And this is nothing new in the Catholic Church, to have heretical priests. We have so many, even at the beginning of Christianity, Arius, these are even monks, Pelagius, Donatus, We have heretical priests, Martin Luther, heretical bishops like Photius, and the cardinals of Henry VIII, Wolsey, Cardinal Wolsey. So this is nothing new. Except that today there are more heretical priests, more heretical bishops, more heretical cardinals, and one heretical pope. So, what is going to happen in Australian Synod is the fact that they spent several months and years collecting ideas from the faithful on how they want the Catholic Church to look like. Imagine
From the
asking people who are totally ignorant of their religion. I mean, the priests are already totally ignorant, the bishops are already totally ignorant. Now you're going to ask lay people, the Australian people, even children, even the young people who know nothing of their catechism, ideas on how the Catholic Church should be. And they asked them and collected them. And they're going to hold a synod in order to implement what these people like.
Maybe they will say that it is said by the people. That is what they
But
want.
that is not a
Yeah.
That's not a government. It's a Catholic Church.
That's
That's
true.
Christ. He can never change. There's only one. What he said is that's it.
We just said that Catholic truths come from scriptures and the fathers of the church.
And
Now they're getting Catholic truths from the people who
Lay
are
people.
completely uneducated
see what
with
you
their
mean.
catechism.
Yes, Father.
So it's the wrong source of getting Catholic doctrine.
I don't understand why they do that kind of
Well,
research or
because
something.
by that time, they just don't say it, but they don't believe anymore in Jesus. They don't believe in the Mess. They don't believe anymore on that. They have their own God already. Themselves.
You are right. The reason they are totally ignorant of the Catholic faith is because they don't believe.
Yeah.
They don't have the Catholic faith. They don't believe in the teachings of Christ. That's why that's a punishment that they are totally ignorant of the teachings of Christ because they have no faith.
What I don't understand, Father, the writings of the fathers and doctors of the Church, Catholic Church, andyan eh. You can read it, you can
They're
have
not
it if you
interested.
want it.
Yeah, it's written down.
How
But you
come
know,
they don't seek
No.
that kind of knowledge from the fathers of the Church?
when St. Augustine wanted very much to be converted, God showed him the book
Yeah.
and somebody reading the book to him. These people are not interested in knowing the teaching of the Catholic Church. Even if the book are available, God will not show it to them because it's useless to show it to them.
Because they don't want to seek the truth.
They're not interested.
They're not interested in the truth.
Honestly, the books that I read about the fathers of the Church, I was seeking for something that will enlighten me. And I find it here in the Cariano community, all the writings of the fathers of the Church, Catena Aurea, Pilocalia, and everything.
Yeah, you did not find it in the community. You found it in
No.
the books which are in the community.
Yes.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
But you know, it's so important that you are a true seeker of the truth because remember, among the Jewish people, it was Christ himself who was teaching. It was not St. Augustine who was teaching them. Not John Chrysostom. It was Jesus Christ, and yet they did not believe.
So you can imagine.
So you can give them a Catena Aurea and they will not believe.
Why? Well, I don't understand it because Saint Thomas Aquinas is explaining everything about the teaching of Christ.
Well, Saint Pope Gregory the Great, and this is precisely what made Gregory the Great, is because he pinpointed the reason. And he said because they did not have humility. That's the reason why the Pharisees could not be converted by Christ. Even if their teacher was Jesus Christ himself, the Pharisees could not be converted because they were proud.
Yeah.
And the greatest sin in the world today is pride. And so if you read the writings of St. Gregory the Great, called Morals, or an interpretation of the life of Saint Job of the Old Testament. He described the story of Saint Job, explaining the entire teaching of the spirituality of the Catholic Church from the Old Testament, just to show you how connected the Old and the New Testament is. And if you will notice, practically everything that man is doing today are signs of pride. Everything. From the Pope down to the cardinals, bishops, and priests, and the nuns, everything they're doing are acts of pride.
Maybe they want to be acclaimed as leader of the new church or changing the Church of Christ.
Well, that's pride, precisely.
Yeah, it's like-
Just to be known is proud already. How much more to be known that you're changing the church? Well, that's really double pride.
And like in Australia, if they even ask children, what is it that you want? So even the children, as small as that,
it's
will want to,
pride.
will already incur in themselves pride. This is what I
Exactly.
want, and they're gonna do it.
Yes.
Or maybe they're using the lay people, the child, so that they can argue that this is what they want.
That's a pride. They
Well,
do what
you-
they want.
You know, because man has fallen nature, if you ask them, what do you want? It's going to be sins, of course. They want to commit sins because they have a fallen nature. I mean, you cannot approach a man and say, what do you want? I want to be a saint. Well, maybe you can have one like that out of 10 million. But most of them would say, I would like to enjoy life.
So I can imagine what new laws they have in Australia.
Oh, it's bad. The
One example, no?
the shape in the Australian Catholic Church is very, very bad.
Okay. Okay, so there's not a surprise if they have a synod like that if the church is bad in there already.
Because the bishops are doing nothing. I mean, the government is going to abolish the seal of confession, which is something very anti-Catholic.
The seal of confession. So it means you can tell everybody my sins. Everybody's got to know. Is that what you're gonna do?
It's more that they can
What?
question and the priest.
I
They
see.
can question
So
the priest.
priest.
What if this man confessed to you?
Okay.
And no
Okay.
bishop, practically no bishop is defending the doctrine of the Catholic Church.
And they're gonna put that's one of the things.
Yeah, I think they have approved it already. You know?
Really? Oh, I see.
But they're not just imposing it
Then
totally.
nobody's gonna go to confession then.
I mean, the Catholic Church in
Not
Australia is
finished.
down.
Down.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. So if that's the case. So that's really more confusion for the people in Australia. But the problem is, Father, it could happen here.
It's happening here.
I mean, as bad as that.
This
Almost.
is yeah, it's not happening only in the Amazon or in Australia. It's happening all over the world. Or you can see France is in bad shape. Germany is even in worse shape. The Philippines is in very bad shape.
I know.
We are going to celebrate our 500 years
Yes.
anniversary of the Christianization of the Philippines.
With Pope Francis.
Well, anyway, they presented a video.
Of what is gonna happen. Or what?
And everything is Protestant. Everything in the video was heretical. Everything was Protestant. There was nothing Catholic in it, and it's supposed to be a celebration of the 500 years Catholicism, the foundation of the Catholic Church of the Philippines. But there was nothing Catholic in it.
When is this? The sad event. I don't know what they're celebrating. Celebrating they're turning away from the church.
Well, because the ones who are going to hold the celebration are the priests and the bishops, who themselves have heresies, of course.
Of course.
So what do you expect?
Okay. So, yes. Okay. So we're in a bad state too. It says that we don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in fact, a few laymen approached me, and they wanted to celebrate the 500 years anniversary in the proper way.
Okay.
In the proper way. But these are laymen.
That
There's
seems to
nothing
be-
they can do. You know?
No.
And in fact, I think nothing happened. And the first thing they wanted to do was to celebrate the Mass in exactly the same way it was first celebrated in the Philippines, which is in Latin. A Latin Mass.
Okay.
You tell that to the bishops in the
No,
Philippines.
they won't want.
They even forbid the bishops' conference, some of them anyway, forbid the celebration of the Latin Mass in the Philippines in their own dioceses. And they punishes priests who celebrate the Latin Mass when Summorum Pontificum says you
Yes.
can celebrate Mass, the Latin Mass, without permission from the bishop.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Father, but we have only 1 minute.
Well, there you have a confusion caused by the Synod of the Amazon, now by the Synod of the Australians. And there is no synod going on in the Philippines, but it's already going on. It is being Protestantized and it is becoming pagan slowly without the faithful realizing it. That's the biggest problem.
That's a sad part.
Nobody realizing it.
That's a sad part.
Yeah. Please continue watching Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. His dialogue is like the salt and light of our Lord Jesus Christ. See you again, please.
Hosanna, Hosanna.